What's poppin', everybody? Hello and welcome to Popcorn Culture. My name is Ben Carlin and I am your host. Here with me today is my brother Jay, who will be in every episode.
The co-hostiest with the mostiest. I'm so excited to be here on the Pop with you today, Ben. I totally stumbled right out of that.
You know,
blah, blah.
I got an absolutely hilarious email from somebody over the past week after announcing that Alice and I are expecting a baby this October, and they said that we should refer to Tyler as the uncle and then you as the other uncle.
Oh, should we now?
Oh, should we? No, I don't think so. So. But there's
that kid's gonna be like, Uncle Jay.
I know it's gonna be so fun because I feel like that's like the relationship that I have with your son Luke, which is that like he's like Uncle Ben.
Uncle Ben.
It's like a part of my name to him.
Yeah.
Which is good. That's what I was going for.
Yeah.
I was very hopeful that it would turn out that way.
It's interesting the way he associates different family members. So like me and Beth are going to Cincinnati this weekend to visit Beth's brother.
Okay.
Well, they live in Lexington, but Cincinnati, I guess, is more fun. So we're all going there. We're all meeting there. And we're just going to have the weekend there and it's going to be fun. But so I keep telling Luke, like, oh, hey, we're going to go see Uncle Daniel this weekend. And the first time I told him that, he just like immediately just like looks to the side. He's like, we're going to the playground. like he remembers a very specific playground that is very near Uncle Daniel's house. He's like, there's a playground? I was like, actually, no, we're not going to Uncle Daniel's house. We're going to be with him. And he goes, will there be balls? Because that's the other thing is they FaceTime Daniel all the time, and he'll always just like hold up various like sports balls from around the house.
Amazing.
And that's like the game him and Luke play. So he's just like, they're gonna be balls.
It's like this is what I know about Uncle Daniel.
Playground and balls.
Yeah, I love it. This is so true though. Like I have a couple of thoughts in reaction to this. One is that when I was a kid, I remember as I was getting probably like 7, 8 years old, there was sort of like, especially on our mom's side of the family where we have more like aunts and uncles because she has 2 sisters and a brother.
Yeah.
But not knowing which members of that side of the family were like our blood relatives.
Oh,
versus
like when you're like a very little kid?
Yeah, like when we're a very little kid. So like we have like an Uncle Mike who I share October 25th birthday with, which shockingly, I got so many emails from people as well saying that we have the same birthday. So
wow.
Way to go, everybody else, us and Katy Perry. But I remember thinking for the longest time that he was like mom's brother and that our Aunt Teresa on that side of the family who is actually
related to our mom.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, was like married into the family, but it was like there was no reason for it. You know, it wasn't like I was like assessing the genetic likenesses or anything like that. It was just sort of like my headcanon for this particular situation.
I mean, you're both born on the same day. You're like, hey, people are born into a family. We were born on the same day. We're in the same family. We must be blood related.
This is the way that it must be.
This is the kind of logic children have.
Right. Yes. Yeah.
This is how it goes.
I was also very disappointed when I found out that there are not nearly as many pencils in Pennsylvania as promised.
As promised.
But okay, so the other thing.
What were you going to do with all the pencils?
I don't know. I just assumed that they would be everywhere. Like, you know how like in cartoons and stuff, there's always like the world's largest yarn ball or something like that. Like I literally assumed that as you were going through Pennsylvania, there would be gigantic pencils like mounted on the sides of the road as their signature. Like this is Pencil Land.
Well, let me just say that talking about giant things and crossing state borders, let me just segue into maybe people have noticed if you're watching the Pop on the YouTube channel that the Stanley Duck has gotten a significant upgrade.
He evolved.
Basically he evolved. So it used to be small pile of ducks.
Yep.
If you can imagine, you know, like execute, right? Pile of eggs.
Oh, I got you.
Even though 5 separate eggs evolves one big tree. Now, very similarly, Stanley Duck has evolved into Big Duck.
Big Duck.
Big Duck.
The biggest.
It is making me very happy. I don't even so the Stanley Cup continues to grow. I think the plan is to like adhesive the duck to the top at some point? Right now it's just sort of resting there.
Yeah, this is like one of those things where I think that the way that we go about our version of content creation is like, we're going to go forward with it and we'll continue to make adjustments
as needed.
Yeah. Whereas maybe other people would be like, let's make sure we have it complete before we introduce it to everybody. This is like, we had the original Stanley Duck.
Yeah.
And then it changed. And now it is currently a non-adhered gigantic duck on top of a golden cup statue on top of a wooden plinth.
Yes.
And but basically what I really my vision for it is to get gold spray paint and make the giant duck gold and then adhere it to our trophy.
Yeah.
But what I love the most about it though is that it's way too big. Like,
it is comically larger than the large trophy it sits upon.
Yes, exactly. So I think it's just perfect.
It's just perfect.
And as time goes on, it will just only become more and more eclectic. Like, maybe we can like fasten things into the handles or or something.
Who's to say what this duck trophy will look like 1 year from now? In fact, mark your calendars, listeners, and let us know, because we'll forget. Let us know 1 year from now. Be like, hey, you should check what the duck trophy looked like a year ago. And we'll be like, oh my gosh, wow, can you believe man, look where we are today. Look, it's going to be different.
How much more evolution can come to the duck.
Now, speaking of our large duck, and I brought it up because we were talking about like heading into Pennsylvania and there being large pencils.
Yeah, of course.
The way in which you can get your name on the Stanley Duck is by our continuous, ever nonstop contest to see who can put a GMA sticker in the coolest places.
Exactly. So it's one of the it's a game that everybody can participate in.
Exactly.
And if you has access to a cool location, then you can take that sticker, place it, and submit that photo to us. And if it is the coolest place of that quarter of the year, your name could go on the Stanley Duck.
Exactly. And I want to bring up one of the cool ones we saw this week from OK Conclusion 9711 on Reddit, because they posted a series of like 8 different photos.
Okay.
And it was like it was a pairing of each. So one would be like a picture of the sign, and then it would be like a close-up shot of where on the sign they had put the sticker. So they had put it on several different signs, but all the signs shared something in common, and that it was the welcome sign to another state.
Awesome.
So there are now GMA stickers on the welcome to Georgia, Florida, Virginia, Tennessee, South Carolina, and North Carolina signs.
Oh my goodness.
Know.
Do you know what I want now?
What?
I want every welcome to sign.
This is exactly where I was going with it.
I want a complete set.
First of all, yes, we need a complete set. We need a GMA sticker on a welcome to sign in every state in America. This is attainable. This is attainable. For sure this is attainable. And I think it's a grand opportunity for there to be like cross-pollination. It's a grand spot for people to notice other little kernels. Because, like, what if you go... Because there's only so many roads that lead into another state.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Chances are you're traveling down the interstate and you walk in. Now, granted, you'll have to pull over on the side of the road.
Well, I was going to say, we should probably offer that disclaimer. I don't know how these folks have already done it, but my preferred advice for this particular scenario is that you do, like, rest stop related welcome tos so that there is a safe place to exit the interstate from. Right.
But in any case, I think it is very possible that we could get a sticker on a welcome sign to every state.
I like it.
And I cannot wait for the moment where someone goes to do it and they're like, oh my gosh, there's already a sticker here.
I know.
That's going to be so exciting. Like I can only imagine
here.
The sheer joy of crossing a state line and seeing the little GMA sticker on the sign and being like, I'm not alone.
It's the knowledge that you're looking at the same moon.
Imagine exactly, except that you listen to the same podcast.
Right.
And that podcast has ramifications in the real world. And those ramifications are stickers on signs. And maybe because you're on a car ride, you're listening to the podcast as it happens.
Goodness gracious. It's getting even more meta.
It's going to happen.
More meta.
I cannot wait.
What I really hope now is that there is somebody who is currently on a road trip listening to this particular episode. And whilst on the road, they're like, wow. Golden opportunity.
Golden opportunity. And here's the thing. I just said I'm going on a road trip this weekend. So I'm like, man, maybe I should pack some stickers.
Maybe.
Got to get some. Yeah, I can't. Now, I will say we're going to be in the minivan with the 3 kids and my in-laws. And I don't super know that everyone's going to be down to stop at the state lines and be like, hold on, I has very important business to attend.
Yeah, hold on just 1 second.
Hold on.
Father-in-law, while I go and place the sticker.
I gotta go do this.
Very light vandalization.
No, of course not. We would never encourage such things, Ben.
We would, of course not, but they are available over at SuperCarlinBrothers.store if you're interested.
And we are going for a full set of 50 out of 50, so.
Right, yeah, this is like people who used to collect quarters, like trying to get like all 50 states.
Yes.
It's like, did you even consider coming up with a podcast-based game wherein we as a collective tackle 50 states worth of signs?
Yeah.
Like, did that even cross your mind when you were collecting those quarters?
No.
I bet it didn't.
It did not. Although, let me just say, I found some quarters the other day in my house. I know. Breaking news.
This is actually shocking because it would not surprise me in the slightest if there was no version of cash in your household whatsoever.
I mean, there's not zero cash in my house, but there's certainly not much. However, when I was a kid, nothing made me happier than the idea of having, I had this large crayon bank. I think we both did.
We both did.
Mine was blue.
Mine was green.
Yeah, it was basically just a cardboard tube, and on the top it had a lid. You could put coins in it. It was very tall. It was like 3 feet tall.
It had like a crayon lid.
Yeah, it had like a crayon lid, so it looked like a crayon.
Yeah, it looked like a crayon.
It was very cool.
You didn't clarify.
No?
You just said it was a lid.
Okay, sorry. It was a crayon lid.
Yeah.
It was a crayon bank.
It makes a difference.
It was very tall. And it brought me the idea of filling the entire crayon with loose change was like the amount of money that represented in my 6-year-old brain was like vast. Oh my gosh, I can't even imagine. It was like a goal of mine.
Yes, this is the exact thing. I in my mind, it was like, you want to know what the best thing about a piggy bank is? I'm going to accidentally become wealthy.
Exactly.
By this spare change that I don't even consider.
Exactly.
I'll put it into my crayon, and then once the crayon is full, I will be rich.
Exactly, Ben. You get it. How do we talk about treasure so much on this show?
I'm not sure, but the other thing about this is that I was terrible at it.
Yeah.
Just flat out terrible.
You're way too away. It was not like set it, forget it. It was like I put coins in and then I dumped it out to count the coins.
Yeah. This would be like Mom would send me to my room, and what I would do is go and empty my crayon onto the floor and sort all of the change,
right.
And then assess my resources and my ability to now potentially buy a Star Wars action figure.
Right. I only got to use 5 more quarters and I'm there.
Yeah.
I'm okay.
Can I tell an embarrassing story about how I collected many of my quarters?
Oh, okay. Please. I love embarrassing stories.
Mom might be embarrassed as well. I don't know, maybe not. But when we were kids, she would read us books at night.
Yeah.
And because our dad was he did the TV thing, so he was not, physically there to read us the books during the weeknights or whatever. So Mom would read us books at night, and she would always say, "I'll give you a quarter if you brush my hair." And so this was one of those things where we had these bunk beds, and I remember I would just sit on the bed and literally brush Mom's hair in exchange for a quarter. While she read us our books.
There you go.
Our Berenstain Bears and Encyclopedia Brown.
That's $1.25 a week, man.
It's not bad. It does not rack up very quickly when you spend I spend though.
That's 4 weeks equals $5 equals one Star Wars action figure.
One Star Wars action figure.
That's 12 action figures a year, man.
Yes, well,
You're flying.
Practically.
This
was the thing. So it's so funny. I don't know if you remember this about me as a kid, but I was so wildly indecisive. We would
I do remember this. That you bring it up.
Yeah, so we would get to the aisle and we would stand there and it'd be like, oh man, do I want X-Wing pilot Luke Skywalker or Sand Trooper this week?
Very difficult decision.
They're both really cool. I don't have either. I have many other Lukes though, but I also have Stormtroopers. Which collection do I want to complete first?
Right, Luke is inherently cooler than all Stormtroopers, but I've got a bunch of versions of Luke.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I don't have my X-Wing yet because that's $20.
There's no way I have that kind of patience.
I'm not waiting 4 months.
That's 4 months of hairbrushing.
No way.
No way.
No way.
No way at all.
But yeah, so this, I don't know. It's like that indecisiveness, but it's also part of the fun. And this past weekend, I gave Alice a gift card as like a Mother's Day thing to this website that she's been like ridiculously obsessed with lately. It's called Stony Clover. Have you ever heard of this?
I haven't.
Okay. So this is not a sponsor or anything. I'm just talking about it. But they have these they're bags that you can have patches put on. And like the patches are part of what makes it cool.
Okay.
But like it's, for all intents and purposes, it's like they have like duffel bags, like hip packs, backpacks, I don't know, tote bags.
Yeah.
But like it's not enough to just have the bag itself. You have to customize the bag with something. But like the patches themselves are like clouds and rainbows and smiley faces or stars or like words or something like that. But like it's been so cute and adorable because I gave her this because I know that she had been looking at them and I was like, well, I don't know which one to pick. So this will be a fun way to do that. She has done nothing every day since other than scroll on the website doing this exact thing.
Wow.
Like just standing, I mean, I'm like, you are me, like, but older.
You cannot decide.
This is me in the Star Wars action figure aisle.
Right. Like you have, it's just because you have like, it feels like you have one shot.
Yes.
Yeah.
It does feel like that.
I might not ever have the $5 again, ever.
What if Mom doesn't like having her hairbrush anymore?
Right.
And then I'm out of a job.
That's it.
So
it's over.
It's over. And we can't have that. We can't. Yeah, no. I mean, so got to really make it count when you have those opportunities.
Got to make it count.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, I found 2 quarters in my house the other day.
We made it full circle.
Yeah,
there you go.
No, but it was the same phenomenon, bingo, that I experienced as a child because I have this, we have this piggy bank in Luke's room, which is pretty large. And like, I have this fantastic, like, future dream of the day when, like, on his 18th birthday, when I'm like, you can break the piggy bank. You know, like, that's how long. And I have this, like, wonderful vision about it where, like, anytime I find myself with, like, a spare dollar bill, maybe I'll just go throw it in there. Maybe I'll just go drop it in.
This is brilliant.
Exactly.
But it's so brilliant.
I'm so excited for Luke's 18th birthday because we're going to see how much got put in that piggy bank over the course of that amount of time.
Okay, so here's my suggestion to this is that I love exactly what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
Like continue to put coins in there as you find them, and like I would say like direct them to this particular thing, and maybe don't quite inform him to.
Oh, that's exactly part of it for sure. Like I'll tell him that one day you can open it. And hopefully he will put stuff in there as well. But what will be hopefully great is that he doesn't know that I've been putting stuff in there.
Okay.
So then, like, you know, he's going through it. He's like, wait a minute. Where did this $20 bill come from? And be like, oh, yeah, I was just feeling generous that day.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. What do you know, son?
How about that?
What do you know? The problem I'm finding, Ben, is that when I was a kid, the problem was I never had money to spend to get loose change to put in my crayon.
Oh, yeah, of course.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now,
you weren't in on the gig I had.
That's not true. I brushed Mom's hair, too.
I know that.
I did braids, Ben.
Mom wanted the daughter.
Yeah, poor Mom. Anyway, didn't have bills to spend to get the coins to put in the crayon.
Okay, yeah.
Now, as an adult, semi-different problem where I never pay with cash anywhere.
I was going to say,
so
this is like he's going to get there and have like $10.
I can tell you there's more than $10 in there already.
Okay.
But yes, same problem. It's like I found the coins. I was like, oh my God, I could go put them in the piggy bank. I was like so excited. Like I can do that. I have something to contribute now.
But it's such good conditioning.
Yeah.
Like now you are going to associate coins with Luke's piggy bank.
Yes.
But what I also think you should do is every year on his birthday, I think that you should take a picture of Luke holding the piggy bank.
Oh.
And then print that picture and also put it inside of the piggy bank.
Oh, interesting.
So that when he's 18, you will have this great big collection of year after year after year of him holding the piggy bank.
And then it's funny, yeah.
And then like when he cracks it open, he'll have all these pictures and they'll be like, whoa, that was me when I was 3.
Unbelievable.
And 4 and 5. What happened on year 6, Dad? What happened on year 6?
Sorry about that.
Maybe you guys went to Iceland.
That'd be cool.
That's my prediction.
Yeah?
Yeah. Everybody knows Iceland is a great 6th birthday location.
I think, speaking of Iceland, I believe we misspoke about D2, the Mighty Ducks, and that it is indeed Iceland who are the bad guys, not Sweden.
Oh, no. Well, I did get a message from somebody from Sweden who said, thank you as a representative of Sweden for the shout out in last week's episode. So at the very least, Sweden was very, very glad to hear from us.
They were glad to hear from us as a poor choice of villain, which it turns out was correct because they were not the villain.
Well, yeah, our bad.
So let me ask you this then.
Okay.
Why is it that putting the coins in the piggy bank physically is such a better feeling? Because like there are apps and stuff out there that will do this exact thing. They're like, oh yeah, you made a purchase with your debit card. We rounded up the extra change. We put it in an account. Great news. Check it once a year. Oh my gosh, look how much you've saved in change.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Like that to me, like I know I could do that. And part of but I don't. And I don't have any of those services. I know they exist. This idea appeals to me and I still don't do it. But if I find 2 quarters in my house, it is like, what?
Great Scott.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got to go put them.
What's so better about physical coin?
I'm not exactly sure, but there is certainly something better. Mm-hmm. Maybe it's that they're physical.
That's true, but like
tactile.
There is, but there's all these arguments for coins that not even exist.
Well, it's true. It's true. Yeah, it does feel a little bit ridiculous to have like all of this energy and effort going into all of these things that can be so easily lost into your sofa and or that space between your car seat and the center console.
Ben, that space should not exist.
It should not exist.
It should not exist. There should be no space between the car seat, the driver's seat or the passenger seat, and the center console. It should be completely blocked off, or there should be no center console. You should not be able to lose things in that spot.
Into that crack, I know, because it's so close to the sides of your pockets.
Yeah.
So like you sit down and they all just like roll right out.
Exactly. Not only is it an impossible to reach into spot, but it's an easy to fall into spot.
Exactly. But here's the thing. I saw on like, I don't know, scrolling TikTok or Facebook viral videos or something one day, and I thought you were taking my trophy.
What? I have a trophy bed.
Good point. Somebody actually created like a shelf that you could squeeze in there. Mm-hmm. And for some reason, and basically what the shelf did was it was like a barrier that you could then hey, set your phone on, or like maybe it had a cup holder and a bottle opener and like all the things that everything on Kickstarter always has.
Right. Compass.
Yeah, of course. Really into survivability. Anybody who produces anything on Kickstarter, it's like, here's a USB drive that also has a flashlight. Well, no, flashlight might be useful.
Does it feel like whenever you see a Kickstarter, like the same advertising group made
all of them? That is exactly what I think happened.
It is always like semi-documentary style, and there is guaranteed 3 to 4 shots of them drawing blueprints and scattered papers on a table. You're like, wow, look at these guys. They drew blueprints. Oh, man.
Whoa.
How legit.
Yeah. No, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Which I'm going to come back to that in just a second, but I do want to calf off by saying that for some reason, despite the fact that somebody came up for a purchasable solution to the car crack problem, I was more frustrated with the fact that somebody invented that than I am with the crack itself. It was like, that's not how I want this problem to be solved.
No,
not by putting something in there. Anyway, moving on from that. Very interesting about that whole Kickstarter thing is that I think when I first started hearing about Kickstarter, it was basically music to my ears. Mm-hmm. Like, as someone who has like 4 million business ideas a week, if this was the type of thing where it's like, oh my gosh, I don't have to convince my family and friends anymore. I can make a video and people will help me accomplish these goals. Yeah. Which, now that I'm saying it, I feel like I really need to do something at some point in time. So
sure,
be on the lookout for a Ben Carlin Kickstarter campaign.
Okay.
Where we do something. But I think I put it like way up on a pedestal. Like these are like modern day like inventors.
Yeah.
I think that's really how I saw it. So I was very impressed with it. I had like a very like positive image with it and everything. And then I was at a trade show one year. I won't say what the product is, but I was at a trade show working with a gentleman who literally was like the guy who made a very, very, very famous like Kickstarter campaign.
Yeah.
And it was like so odd to get this like peek behind the curtain as to like what this particular person was like.
Yeah.
Like, because in my mind I was like, oh, like this is like Thomas Edison. You know, like people like this invent, they create,
right?
Like they're going to be in textbooks. And then I was like, you are shockingly like me. Like you're just where's your lab? I thought you would have like a coat or like a group of people following you around, like scribbling your ideas on pieces of paper, and like random like light bulbs over your head, being like, I have an idea.
Right.
Like, I don't know why. Like this is like how I imagined these people to be. Like constantly. But then I remember he was showing me what his next invention was going to be, and it was like this, like small, like it was basically a plug that instead of having a cord on like a phone charger, it was just like there. So like you could like plug your phone in directly to the wall, like immediately to the wall, like you'd have like the white block that comes with your phone.
Yeah.
Charger, and then the port itself.
Okay.
And I was like, that's not as good as the other thing you made. Like it was almost like the first thing you came up with. Okay, like I can see why that caught like wildfire. Although I did purchase the product and it did not work. So that was another thing that dampened me.
Have you? Yeah. How many have you bought into? Many Kickstarter campaigns?
I've probably bought into 5.
5. Okay. Have you typically been satisfied with the results?
I think that I have never used the one that I just told you about. I have tried because there was a very specific reason why I tried it. Everything else, I think it was like 9-10 months later when it finally got to me, and by the time it got to me, I think like the magic of it was kind of just gone.
Yeah.
And it was kind of like, I don't know, I paid for it like a real long time ago. Like they've been sending like way too many email updates about like what's going on behind the scenes, and it was just kind of like, okay, it's here.
Right.
Maybe I'll use it.
Maybe you'll use it.
But anyway, how about you? It sounded like you were going somewhere with that.
Oh, well, I was curious, what your experience has been. I two come to mind. One was a belt.
Was it a great belt?
No.
Was it a reversible belt?
I think it could have been.
Did it have a bottle opener on it?
No, it did not have a bottle opener.
They always have bottle openers.
That's what a move.
Yeah.
What a move. This was I think it was like a magnet belt.
Okay.
And the idea was that you could like move the there was like a magnet in the fastener, so you would put it like through your belt loop, and then it would like come back across, and you could use the magnet to hold it where it was. So you never had any like flapping and it would always fit because you could just move the magnet to wherever it was.
I see.
Yeah, and it like looked cool or stuff. I mean, it looked cool on the web, on the Kickstarter,
right,
or whatever. And I remember getting it, and it just did not work.
Oh no!
Like one, you could not, like, the act of moving the magnet was like you had to get like both fingers on it and like smush it like every inch you needed to go.
It's like when your string gets sucked into your hoodie hole.
Yes,
and you have to like
exactly like that.
Like wiggle it out.
You had to like smush it every little bit, and then it was like the belt was like too heavy for the magnet to effectively hold up, so it was always sort of leaning forward a little. It was sad. I was like, well, this was a bummer, but I mean, I felt good that I helped. And then another one I bought, and I was actually very happy with, but other people must not have been, because eventually it just like completely failed. But it was a game called Story Wars, which I think you and I played once or twice.
I'm pretty sure the only time that I played Story Wars, it just turned into like a screaming match.
It was the idea behind the game was that I think it was sort of like D&D-esque.
It's incredibly open-ended. I think, so if I recall correctly, it was almost like both people would draw a card that had like some type of creature on it, and then you could draw another card that was like an accessory that creature might have to defeat the other person's card, and then you and that person would like take your arguments and just duke it out with each other, and then there's like a impartial judge that then determines like the winner. So it's like apples to apples, or like Cards Against Humanity, where like one of the members of your group is just the judge on who wins. Right,
like they get to decide, but they're deciding based on how the story you tell about the cards you played against the cards they played. But it's just like all you have really to go off of is the artwork. So it's like, oh yeah, no, I've got a chicken and he's got rocket boots and he's carrying a spear, and this is how he's going to defeat your flying whale or something. Yes, exactly. Wow, flying whale was literally the one thing that sprang to my mind. There we go. Must have been a good one. Must have been a good one. I feel like this was a rare moment where I feel like you and me got really into this game, and it made like the fun of it was that we kept coming up with ludicrous things to happen, and it just made other people like, this is too freeform. There's just people are yelling and arguing, and I can't tell if they're actually mad. And
which I don't think we were. I think it was just sort of like we were just getting like completely ridiculous with it. Like one of us would claim one thing, and it's like, oh, no way at all because of these reasons right here.
Right.
Yeah. But that was the other problem too, is that it was almost just like a draw items out of a hat and then argue.
That's exactly what it was.
It's like, debate club, but with not on topical issues, but rather flying whales versus rocket boot chickens.
Exactly. So anyway, I think I had 2 sets of that from whatever level I invested in. I got like the first round of cards and the second round of cards, and then like a few months later, I got an email and they're like, well, we ran out of money. Or this is the end. Thanks for your support.
Shucks be darned.
So
one of the ones that I have that is still in the box, and I have to tell you, this is it's actually like a cool idea, and I think about it constantly to bring it here to the office. I'm like, we could surely do something with it.
Yeah.
It's called a scribbit.
Oh, okay.
Like it's like the best way for me to describe it, if you have any idea how like a 3D printer works, it's almost like a 3D printer, but instead of drawing with like a filament that then stacks on itself to where you eventually have like a small item, statue, whatever.
Yeah.
It literally takes like a marker and will take these same paths, but then draw like an image.
Right. Okay.
So you could have like a whiteboard with the scribbit attached to like both corners of it, and then it's got like a little motor that will like travel around and like move the marker so that it like draws the image right in front of you.
Right.
And I've always thought that like it would be like a really, really cool thing to have at like a fundraising event or something. Like you walk into the door and like while you're getting your tickets, there's like actively like the scribbits like drawing like a really cool like masterpiece of a drawing, and then at the end of the night you could like auction off.
Oh, that'd be
like,
neat.
That particular like painting because it happened right there at the event, or probably drawing is a better word for it. But this was the one that I actually was like tuned in. I was checking for it. I was excited about it, and it finally, after like 14 months, shipped or something, and I got it and I was like, oh, this is so cool. And I like put it in my car, and then it just stayed in my car for like 3 months until I eventually like brought it out and put it in my basement, where it stayed for like 3 months. And it kept living this way. Like I kept like having the best of intentions. I kept attempting to bring it places to use it.
Right.
And then it would never quite like get in the door and opened. So I've literally never even opened the box.
Wow.
I know. So maybe we should try it and then like report back on whether or not it worked.
Yeah, maybe we should.
And show our masterpiece.
Okay.
New challenge for us for the next week.
Use a product you bought.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. What a fun idea. What a fun idea. Well, hey, Jay, how about a fun fact about coyotes?
Whoa. Yeah. Oh my goodness.
I know.
I'm
What
down.
a good transition.
Do it.
Okay. So this particular fun fact about coyotes was it was really funny because I got an email from somebody and they were like talking about how coyotes are super athletic, and I was like, yeah, I can get that.
I mean, I feel like most animals are pretty athletic.
You know what's weird is that we as people are not like built the same way like this.
Yeah.
Like all rabbits are fast.
Yes.
You know, like, but I don't know. But we're not like built naturally to run into our burrows.
Well, that's interesting. I wonder though, like if you're, a lion, perhaps from your perspective, all humans are pretty slow. Like to we the humans, some of us are slow and some of us are fast. But perhaps to the lion, it's like you're all slow.
You're all, like on your best day,
on
slow.
your best day, the best of you, slow.
If they even have opinions about us at all.
Probably they don't. But
probably they don't.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, anyway. Athletic coyotes.
So this has come up several times because, of course, I myself am doing extensive research on coyotes.
Of course,
week in, week out, trying to get my next fact. So a couple of people have sent me messages saying coyotes can run 40 miles an hour, and I'm like, that is cool, but I keep stumbling across it. It's like it's like in Master Elodin's class, he has like a thing called interesting fact.
Yeah,
and like each of the students have to come to class and offer an interesting fact.
Right. And Quoth makes Bass do this eventually.
Oh, does he?
Right? Yeah.
Okay.
He's like, what did you learn today? It's kind of like a similar routine.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got you. Anyway, Name of the Wind reference in case anybody had it on their bingo card.
Bingo.
But so I keep stumbling across the fact that coyotes can run quite fast and that, they've got like these other characteristics about whatever. But this particular email said coyotes can jump 13 feet in the air.
Whoa.
And I was like, hold up, have not seen this. And so I'm like, okay, you've got me, but this one I got to fact check it because 13 feet, that's just like, that is so many times greater than its height.
Its own height.
Right. Like, so for coyotes to not have a reputation for jumping, if they can jump 13 feet in the air, it's like what do kangaroos? Where'd you come from?
I know. Yeah, known as jump. This is like if you're a coyote, this is like if you're standing on the basketball court and you jump not into the hoop, but on top of the backboard.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So massive jump.
That's insanely high.
Yeah, it's not true.
Oh,
it's not. I know.
Okay.
I know.
Wow.
I think.
I guess I'm not surprised.
I know. Yeah. I think the poor person they sent the email, and I think because I looked it up and it ends up being 3 feet.
Oh.
And so I was like, okay, but 13 feet would have been very interesting.
That would have.
So this is not an interesting fact about coyotes. Is that the right way to say that, or is it? This is a interesting thing that isn't a fact about coyotes.
Right.
Maybe. I don't even know how to say it.
Okay.
But that's that.
Well, it is a fact about coyotes.
It is
a truth about coyotes.
But it's not because it's not true.
No, but they could jump 3 feet.
Oh, yes.
That's a fact.
That's a fact.
Yeah.
That's a good point. Okay.
Right. There you go. Do you have a corny joke for us too, Ben? While we're on a roll?
In fact, I actually have 2 corny jokes.
What?
Because last week my corny joke wasn't really a corny joke. I was just like segueing into the announcement.
Right.
And so I know that some people out there were kind of like, well, we got like gypped on our, like our corny joke here.
Yeah.
Like we were like, we're holding out for a corny joke.
Right. All we got was Ben's having a kid. What? That's not funny.
That's yeah, exactly. Okay, so 2 corny jokes here. First corny joke comes from Nicole Lay, who says, "What's the difference between a bicyclist wearing a suit and a unicyclist wearing plaid?"
One wheel and style.
So close.
Oh, am I?
So close. Attire.
Oh, man.
Right.
So close.
Right.
Yes, attire. I get it. That's pretty good.
Yep. Pretty good. So
attire.
Thank you, Nicole Lay, for that one.
Yeah.
And then we got one from Mary Nelson here. I thought this one was good as well. How do musicians brush their teeth?
How do musicians brush their teeth with their... man. I feel like it's there. I don't know.
With a tuba toothpaste.
With a tube of I wasn't there at all. Nope. With a tube of toothpaste.
A tube of toothpaste.
That seems like awfully that every musician uses a like
they all use tuba toothpaste.
They all use tuba.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
play lead guitar? Yeah, but I use a tube of toothpaste.
Right. Don't we all?
Don't we all?
So
we are musicians.
If anybody at home has a fun, or not a fun fact, but a corny joke, both, or a fun fact about coyotes, and you want to submit it to us, you can do that by emailing me at popcornculturepod@gmail.com.
Yeah. Well, I can't wait to hear them.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll figure one out.
There you go. Okay, so in the meantime, here is like a thing that I have noticed about myself. So you know how we always say the word phenomenon?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've said it before. This isn't even the first time we're saying it in this episode.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So it comes up. It's a word that we use a lot.
Yeah.
Well, so as we've been premiering the pop each week on the YouTube channel and sitting in to chat with people, there is like another thing that I have started to notice, because that is like the opportunity that allows me to now revisit each of these episodes, to actually go back and like re-listen, because for the most part, like once we're done recording, I don't hear the entire discussion again.
Right.
But here lately I have. And one of the things that I keep hearing myself say or bring up is talking about anxiety.
Oh, really?
As like sort of, like this was a moment, I was super anxious, like whatever. And what's really weird to me about anxiety is almost like the same thing as like when I first got like a cold as a kid. Like I was experiencing something, but I didn't know what I was experiencing. So like as a kid with a cold, I was just like, well, I guess I'm just uncomfortable today.
Right.
Like,
okay.
Like, it was kind of like, to me, it wasn't this type of thing where you would go and be like, Mom, I think I have a cold, because there was no way for me to like I didn't know what it was.
Right.
So there was no way for me to articulate it. And now, of course, when I have a cold, I know that I have a cold, and that's exactly what it is. The same thing is true for me with anxiety. Like, of course, my whole life I've known what the term is, and like it probably even been able to like refer to moments as like anxious. But
yeah, I felt anxious before I went on stage.
Yes.
Yeah.
But what I really think that is, it's almost like using the wrong word. It's like I was nervous before going on stage.
Right.
Like not experiencing anxiety. So it's only really been probably in the past year or so that I've discovered that this thing that is constantly happening for me is in fact anxiety.
Yeah.
And I think as a result, now I'm having like so much reflection throughout my life where like I can go back to specific memories and be like, oh, that's what was going on then.
Right.
And it's now like this weird thing that seems to fit everywhere.
Right.
Which is super odd. But also then I was going off of that and I was like, why does that happen? Like, have you ever noticed that you can like learn a new word, or maybe you like bought a new car and then all of a sudden you start to see that car everywhere, or you start to hear that word all the time.
Right.
And you're like, I only just learned this word, but now it's coming up constantly. Like, did it just come in vogue all of a sudden?
There is a word for this phenomenon.
There is, and I have it right before me.
Okay.
Yeah. It is, hang on. It is the Baader Meinhof phenomenon.
Oh, okay.
Which is aka the frequency illusion.
Oh. Yeah, I'm going to read it. The Baader-Meinhof phenomenon, otherwise known as the frequency illusion or recency bias, is a situation where something you recently learned about suddenly seems to appear everywhere.
Yes.
Oh, this is such a thing.
It is so such a thing. Like I feel like it happens all the time, and every time it does, I find myself in a situation where I'm like, how often am I not understanding things?
Oh, right. Like because the truth is, it's likely that these things were happening all the time. You were just completely unaware.
Yes. But now that you start to see them and you understand the references, it's like, okay. And like sometimes it's even like you watch a movie and all of a sudden, like by watching the movie, you now understand so much more about, I don't know. Yeah. Like whenever that comes up.
Yeah. Like you've been hearing people quote a thing your whole life.
Right.
And you're like, I think that must be from a thing that's got the way you're delivering it sounds like it was from a movie, but I don't know what the movie was and I don't know the context. So I'm not really in on it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this has been this has been the latest example of it for me, is that like, I think now that I'm able to identify anxiety, it's also the fact that I have it constantly. It's like, oh,
someone put a name on this, and now it's how I feel all the time.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds a little different though, because this sounds like you're able to revisit past moments and also realize that it was around then. Like, it's not just that like, oh, now I'm noticing it. You're able to like remember times in the past.
Well, I think that's exactly it. So it's not that times in the past I wasn't experiencing anxiety. I just don't think that I knew that is what it was. Mm-hmm. And so now I feel like, because I like looking into stuff like this, when I now start to experience anxiety, I almost feel like I maybe like attack it in a way.
Okay.
Like it's almost like, okay, but why am I feeling this way? Like, what is the sense of lack of control that is going on in my life that is making me now feel worried about this particular thing? And is that something that I can like address head on and be like, hey, this is the problem. This is why I'm concerned.
Right.
And it's very frequently like, anxiety comes from the unknown.
Right.
Me. It's like, I don't know what's going to happen.
What's happening?
Yeah.
Crazy.
I know. Very interesting though.
Yeah.
So there's been that. And then the other little factoid that I was pulling before today's episode, because this is like another one of these things, maybe this will be like the new one where I realize that now I'm ruminating on things.
Oh, like you're like reflecting upon them, or like, I guess ruminating is more like dwelling, isn't it?
I think so. For me, okay, if I were to host a party at my house and talk to 30 people throughout the course of the evening, by the time the evening was done, I would probably like go to bed and start replaying every single one of the conversations that I had throughout the night in my head and like trying to see if like I made mistakes somewhere inside of that particular conversation.
That sounds like a weird combination of ruminating and anxiety.
Well, I think it might be. I think it might be. I'm sure that the two kind of go hand in hand a little bit. Because I think that frequently what you do by way of ruminating is attempting to figure out what maybe went wrong in the past so that you can ensure yourself that it will always go correct in the future. So it's like that idea of like, if I can just like identify it, then like that'll be good. But again, this is like a word that in my head, like I could have said it throughout my whole life. Like it's not like I was like unfamiliar with it. I just don't think I properly understood it. Right. Like I would have thought that this word meant something more like stewing. Like I'm stewing on something. Like I was upset about it and continue to be upset about it.
Okay.
Which I don't think is exactly the same thing.
Right.
Like this could be more a situation where something happened and you were just like running back through the paces over and over again so that you can hopefully be better in the future.
Do you find that you make the improvements? Because it sounds like the cycle continues.
Exactly.
Anyway.
Exactly. So this is what I found that was very interesting about it. So rumination is a way to overplan and control anxiety. It means replaying life events in an attempt to make sure that next time we're totally prepared and won't feel anxious. Sadly, it's futile. Rumination never stops worry. It rewards it. Oh my
God. This is though you've like just the way in which you read that sentence and the way in which it described like your whole life, that's so perfect.
I know.
Oh my gosh,
the futility of it though.
Yeah,
it's just like
it's like this does you no good.
I know.
It's not like when you watch back the footage from the game and you're like, okay, see, if we noticed that they lined up in this way, we could have actually audibled and gone here, and we would have been great.
Right, and we could have won the whole game.
We could, because you know what? Next game, you can do that. And yeah, but this doesn't seem like this is the effect of rumination.
This is not the effect of rumination. So
this is not like a study.
Right. So then as I continued to peel back layers, it got worse.
Oh no.
Because this is like the next layer of it is that like there's the idea of like forcing thoughts from your mind. Mm-hmm. So it's sort of like, I don't want to think about that. Like, I don't want to think about that. So I'm going to put it somewhere else in my brain.
Yeah.
Which I was like, okay, like maybe that's what I need to do instead of ruminating. And it turns out that also does not work.
That is this like a symptom of rumination that your brain will be like, you know what? Lock it away.
Well, I think maybe in a little way it can be because it's sort of like, I don't want to address this thought. I don't want to go after it. So I'm just going to put it someplace else. But the idea of literally not addressing it makes your own brain know to fear that specific thought even more.
Oh, I see.
So yeah, it's sort of like, I don't know.
Very interesting.
I know.
That like locking it away, because you're not dealing with it, then it's like you're training your brain to be afraid of it.
Yes, exactly.
Right.
I feel like you said it better than I did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
There we go. Thanks, psychologist Jay.
You're welcome. I think we talked about this before, but this is, I think, often how I feel. I get this feeling whenever I'm like opening mail.
Yeah.
Like last night, Beth and I were doing our taxes, which was just the worst night of the year.
But truly.
It is, oh my gosh. One, it could not be more boring. And two, it is like, it's super boring, but also it's like very important that you do it.
Yes.
And then it is also extremely complicated and difficult, which is the worst. And it meshes, like I have this all of that is true, and it involves going through lots of mail.
Yeah.
Which is already something I struggle with because I don't know what it's like. I think my brain has been like trained. I think it's like a vicious cycle. It's like, I don't like opening mail because oftentimes the mail makes me feel like I'm in trouble, which that's a ridiculous idea.
Sure.
There's no reason the mail should just be like, you're in trouble, you messed up.
Right. But you must have just got one bad letter and it just sent you down a different path.
I know. It's like, the irony is that if you don't open mail, eventually that will be true.
Did anybody ever break up with you via mail?
Oh, I don't think anyone broke up with me via mail.
Like an actual hard letter?
I don't think no, not like a hard letter in the mail.
It'd be like, oh, Jonathan, you got a piece of mail from your girlfriend. How great!
Great. That would be so mean.
Has anybody ever done that? I mean,
surely these are like Dear John letters, right? There's like a word for this.
Is that what that is?
I think so.
Okay.
I think that's a Dear John letter is a breakup letter.
I'm probably going to see it everywhere now that you said it.
Now that you're going to learn a thing.
They're constantly around.
Constantly.
Why are people so often breaking up with their significant others via snail mail?
Do you have like a worst way you were broken up with?
Hang on. Certainly.
Maybe.
Certainly there is. Yeah, you know what? Okay. The thing about yes, there. Okay, I feel like I'm so nervous about this topic.
Okay, we don't have to cover it if you don't want.
No, it's fine. It's fine. I mean, it's not.
Sometimes these are just funny.
I know. Well, that was the thing. So in this particular situation, I think I've only actually been broken up with one time.
Good for you.
Thanks. And it was not by letter. And I would almost say that it was slightly like a coerced situation, maybe, where like I was absolutely certain that like the girl that I was dating at this period of time was just now interested in another person.
Yeah.
And I remember like the way that I like was slowly stumbling onto this particular fact is that we used to go one summer every summer to John from the GMA's house.
Yeah.
Because he had a pool.
Right.
And we had a curfew. And so whenever I was like headed home from my curfew, I would call this girlfriend and we would like talk on the phone because it was like a 20-minute drive home or whatever. And I remember at some point in time, the phone started doing this thing where it would like ring. And then at the end of the ring, there was it was like ring, boop.
Oh, that's like they're on the other line sound.
They're on the other line sound.
Right.
And so it was like one of these things where it was like, it got to the point where every single night, like this was like a ritual. Like, this is like when I called her and we talked on the phone.
Right.
And every single night she was already on the phone.
With someone else.
Right. And
like, what are the odds?
Right. And that was the case. Like I wasn't wrong.
Yeah, that's the worst. And you're like, I have a feeling.
Yeah.
This is how like vicious cycles get started when you do have an instinct about something and like logic would tell you you shouldn't have that feeling, but then it ends up being right and you're like, I am justified in all of my crazy feelings.
Exactly. I know.
Like, nope, you were right about this thing.
This time. Yep, you have to really rein it in. Yeah. But yeah, so I remember I finally got on the phone with her and it was like, I think that she so badly did not want to like be the bad guy.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
And so I think that like almost what was happening was it was like, I think that she was basically just in the process of slowly and more progressively now communicating with this new gentleman. And like that whole time, I think it was almost like leaving like little like breadcrumbs types of things so that I would break up with her. And so I suppose.
Oh, that move.
I know. Yeah. I think in the end, what really kind of happened was I was like, I like called her one night. I was like, you need to break up with me if this is what's going on. And so like, I remember I had to talk her into it for like an hour and 40 minutes on the phone. And it was just
like, why aren't I just breaking up with you? I don't know.
I don't know either.
Yeah.
I don't know either. It was like a really odd, it was like, even me, like I wanted to be in the relationship. And so I was like, I'm not going to break up with you because that's not how this works.
Right.
So it's like I'm going to put the burden on you.
That's
to
so
do
weird
this.
because like that is how it should work. Like you're cheating on me. Of course I'm breaking up with you.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. But so that was the weird thing about it. So like I remember even like the next day I was working at Petland at the time and I remember getting to work and I was all like, wallowing. And my manager was like, is everything okay? And I was like, yeah, my girlfriend broke up with me last night. And he's like, oh no, what happened? And I was like, how do I even tell this story?
Hold on. Let me ruminate on it.
I'm ruminating on it right now. Like,
have I dug up an old?
You have. I'm like,
oh, no.
I can go back to the moment. I remember being in my bedroom and like my aquarium with like the water level was like 3 inches low. So like the filter was like making noise as it was like splashing. It's like, I can like go back to this night.
Oh,
what a weird thing.
Sorry about that.
That's okay. Yeah. What was the worst way you were ever broken up with?
Oh man. Okay.
Did you know this question was coming?
Well, I asked you, so I had a feeling.
Excellent.
Yeah, I had a feeling. Let's see. What comes to mind is, do you remember AOL Instant Messenger?
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Oh, I mean, who doesn't?
I dare say I was a pro at AOL.
The best way to communicate, or worse, depending on the situation.
My first sliver of internet fame ever was AOL Instant Messenger, because I would get on and open 9 windows, and I'd have like my thing.
Yeah, you know? you'd be like in the zone.
Yeah, so
I'm talking to like 9 people right now.
9 people.
Probably more. They're just like minimized down in the bottom. Like not important, not making the full screen.
A little flashing orange.
Yeah.
Okay. So some people have no idea. So let's carry on. So AOL Instant Messenger.
So anyway, AOL Instant Messenger was just an old chat system that you could use, and everyone used it.
Yeah. And
if you needed to get up and go away from the computer, you could put up what was called an away message.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which meant, I'll be back later. Here's some, like, if you sent them a message, it would like pop back and be like, you know.
Yeah.
And it would just supply you with a message. And at first it was used as intended, as like a I'll be right back sort of thing.
Right.
But it quickly turned into like the ultimate like screener, like sensor of like, because you could have an away message up and continue talking. It wasn't like if you started talking, AOL would be like, oh, you're back. I'll take that down for you. It was like, you can just keep it up. And so then if you didn't want to talk to people, you could just the away message. You're like, no, the away message, I wasn't there. I had an away message up. We're not
I'm not on my computer.
No.
But you know what the worst thing about it was is that so like the little screen names were up in like the little bar on the side or whatever. And if they were just online, it was just their name in like bold print. And then if they're away, it was like bold print with like a little like notepad next to it. And if they were away and also idle, then it would turn the little like the whole screen name like a transparent kind of color.
Yeah, like a light gray.
Which was like, that was such a jerk move on AOL Instant Messenger.
Oh, to include this?
Because it was like, if somebody went away and they were idle, it was like, rest assured, they were gone.
Right.
Like, that was like, you could count on that. But if like you were online and there was someone you normally talk to who had like a little yellow pad next to it and they were bold the whole time that you were on for like 2 hours, it's like, you are there.
You are there. Yeah. But even then, it's so like, probably they were there.
Yeah.
But it's so easy to be like, nah, I wasn't. I just left it open. My mom was on the computer, you know.
Right, like, the reason I wasn't idle is because she was doing taxes.
Right, exactly. You know about taxes? They take forever. Let me tell you, boring night. So anyway, the away message was sort of like the original status update. It's like the original Twitter.
Yeah,
I think.
It really was.
You could put like a little message in there that would pop up. You could check people's away messages even without actually messaging them, whatever. So one day, girl I'm dating, her away message is up and it's like a survey. It's like it was like a little questionnaire sort of thing.
Okay.
Like take this quiz about me or something like that.
Okay.
And you could like read how they had answered the questions on this little quiz about themselves. And like one of the questions was like, are you in a relationship? And it just said like ... as the answer. And it was like, well, okay.
Oh no.
And this was like how like I found out
like that you were being broken up with.
I'm like, hey. Yeah.
It feels like this was intentional too.
It does, exactly. Because it's like we would have talked like every night. It's like you put that up, I'm not, there's no way I don't see it.
Oh no.
Yeah, so it was like that was pretty bad. I know. I was like, okay.
Okay. Yeah.
This is a pretty obvious answer. Since we're dating.
Right. Yeah. Well, it's so funny though too how it's like there's like all like once you're inside of like any type of structured way of communication like this, there becomes like unspoken jargon like that.
Yes.
It's like there's like these like little details or whatever. But then like you kind of like fast forward to, because another one that people used to do during the same period of time was MySpace was super popular.
Yeah.
And very frequently if somebody was like in a relationship, but like things were not going well, because Facebook just like they were like blunt about it. They're like, it's complicated. it's like okay, like who was ever choosing that particular option? But what you could do on MySpace was just remove the relationship status altogether.
Right, like don't even display it.
Right. So this was like a similar tactic that the same girl that I was communicating with did during this period of time. She redid her MySpace page, and when she redid it, it no longer had any of those details listed anymore.
Right.
They were just all gone.
Right.
And it was kind of like open to interpretation.
Right. Like it used to say in a relationship, yes. Now the in a relationship line doesn't exist.
Right.
Yeah, like wait, so who knows?
Right.
Who knows?
So okay, here's a question then. So like you have like these high school relationships, and there's sort of like these things that happen, and people are kids, and they're clearly not handling things as well as maybe they may learn to in the future.
Yes.
But is there ever a part of you that feels like it's like an unresolved issue, or like it would almost be like, can you apologize or something? Like, should we talk?
Should we talk? I think for any relationship in high school at this point, the statute of limitations has run out.
Okay.
Like, you know what? I can acknowledge that everyone involved was a teenager and did not know very much about dating. And it's all good.
Excellent.
It's all like, we're good. If I ran into you, it'd be fine.
It'd be fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're good.
I'm glad to hear it. I'm glad. Way to put it in your past.
Hey, exactly. You know, I'm big on forgiveness, Ben.
I love it. Well,
Yeah.
that's good. I'm proud of you. Proud of you. Okay, so the like last transition-y thought that I have before we close out today's episode, because we were talking about high school relationships, and one of the things that you and I were talking about, this is like closely related. I'm like connecting dots that may be slightly far apart. But one thing that like randomly sparked into my brain recently was you made a video in year 1 of SuperCarlinBrothers about that was called The Truth About Popcorn.
Oh, yeah, the original popcorn content of SuperCarlinBrothers.
The original. So the reason this sparks to mind is specifically because I feel like so many high school dates were specifically going to the movies.
Yeah.
And like that was, I went through phases where there was a period of time where like getting the popcorn was like half the fun. And then eventually it was like, no, you don't get popcorn. And then it became fun again later.
Oh, okay.
So I had like a brief period of time where like it was like I was like too afraid to like maybe like eat in front of them or something.
Okay.
I was like we'll just
Never
go
mind.
in. Yeah, we'll just go in. I don't want anything.
Yeah.
I'm not thirsty. Yeah. But anyway, so you made this video that was the truth about popcorn, and it was like entirely false.
Well, okay. Let's spill the tea, as it were. Here's the truth about popcorn.
Love it.
Is that if you're a year 1 SuperCarlinBrothers video or viewer, or I'm sure we'll link this in the show notes. We'll just put a link to the video. Yeah, I made a video called The Truth About Popcorn, and the whole video was just a pure fabrication.
But it was so absurdly clever.
Yes.
Like, it's one of these stories where it's like, you hear it and you're like, what an odd origin story, but I get it.
This is a bit of storytelling magic that I don't know what state of mind I was in when I stumbled into it the very first time.
Yeah.
I think I was just talking to someone on Instant Messenger, and I was just sort of like making it up as I went, and they kept like asking more questions, and I was like, I actually have an answer for it. Okay, let's keep going.
Right.
And I just sort of remembered it, but I have told people ahead of time that this story is false, and then I'll start telling them the story, and they'll be like, what was the fake part? And I'll be like, they will believe it even if I tell them ahead of time.
This is false.
Here we go.
Buckle up.
So the truth about popcorn was the story about why do we eat popcorn in movie theaters? Like, if you think about it, like it's sort of like messy. It's covered in butter. Your fingers get like all greasy and stuff.
Sure.
It like falls all over you. It's loud. If you're chewing it, you can't hear the movie. So it's of course such a part of the culture. You're like, well, how could you not have popcorn at the movies?
Right.
But like, does it make sense? Well, so what happened was that once upon a time, like it was part of like drug dealing. And if you were dealing drugs, it was like right when they started using dogs to sniff them out.
Okay.
So
okay. Of course.
What what the criminals discovered was that the smell of popcorn would actually cover up the smell of whatever drug they were peddling.
Of the drugs.
Because it has such a signature scent. Like, that's the thing. You walk in, you're like, oh my God, it smells like popcorn. It's amazing.
Yeah, of course.
Right. And so movie theaters are a pretty natural spot for such deals to go down because it's dark. Everyone's focused on something else. It's very easy to, make a transaction.
Right. Exchange popcorn bags.
Exactly. You can just put it right in the popcorn. Dogs can't smell it. No problem. Well, so what happens is that obviously the movie theaters that are doing this are doing really well. And it looks like, obviously they're doing well because they're dealing drugs. They're making lots of money in this regard.
Laundering.
Exactly. But if you're just like the competing movie theater business, you're looking at it from the outside, like, what are they doing that's so much better than what I'm doing? Like, how are they succeeding? And of course, the main difference looks like the popcorn.
Right.
So then they're like, well, I got to start serving popcorn. And that's how it began to spread. And now everyone serves popcorn, and it doesn't make sense, but it came from drug dealing, and that's the reason.
The rest isn't history.
The rest isn't history because that was all fake. How many of you forgot?
Right, exactly. Yeah, it's like, wait a second. Wait, that does add up. It is dark in there.
Right.
I could see it. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So it was like the most compelling thing ever. And I think the funniest thing about it when you made this video back when is that you were like, I'm not going to tell people. Like, it was like, this isn't true, but also, and then what I was so curious about, because it was such an obscure thing, but it is so believable. I was like, what if this like makes it out there? Because sometimes there are things that someone somewhere just made up.
Right.
And it's like, we made a video about it. Hang on, if I can get there with my head. Something about Japanese roses, maybe. There was like a belief.
Oh, with Neville and the samurai?
Yes.
Yeah.
What is the...
It was the cherry blossoms.
The cherry blossoms.
I don't know exactly what story is being put out there, though.
Goodness gracious. Okay, well, we stumbled across... Like I wish I could think of what it is. There's like a Japanese proverb that says something, and like whatever they say is like so absurdly fitting to the situation. You're like, that is so interesting. Like, look at that. Very neat.
Oh, but the proverb was completely made up.
The proverb's made up. It's not a real thing at all. But it was like when you see it for the first time, and every time I found it, it was like on viral meme posts, and people were like, check this out. Like, this is a thing.
I do remember this now that you're talking about it. Yeah.
Maybe we will reflect on it, figure out what it was, and then include more information visibly on screen so people...
We'll ruminate.
Yeah, there you go. We'll get there. But your story was so good that I was like, someday someone else is going to tell me this story.
Oh, it's gonna like work its way back.
Yeah. It's like the light. It's like how a meme actually works. It's like you like enter something out into the world, and then it's like how long does it take to get back to you?
Right.
And that was what I was like, someday there's going to be an article that's like, did you know the unusual history about popcorn at the movies? The best thing would almost be if it was like those really, really, really corny things that are like playing in the movie theater.
Yeah.
Before the movie actually starts.
Yes, that would be amazing.
That's where you would see it.
Right.
That's where you'd see it. Anyway, now I'm absolutely craving popcorn.
Well, we have a popcorn maker literally right here, just off camera.
You can literally touch it.
I can get a piece of popcorn right here. There you go. I'm now chewing it.
Wow, way too loud. You could not watch a movie with that around.
You couldn't.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. As always, if you want to submit any corny jokes or fun facts about Coyotes, or just any thoughts you have about the pop in general, you can do so at popcornculturepod@gmail.com. We're also over on Reddit and Patreon at patreon.com/popcornculture. Do you have anything to add?
Oh, I don't think I have anything to add. No.
I looked over. I thought you were gonna like chime in.
I had nothing left.
Contribute.
Okay.
To
I'm prepping for the sign off.
Oh, I see. Like, do you have to like? Laser in.
Yeah. It's a lot of responsibility.
It is a lot of responsibility, guys. Until next week.
Pop.